17 football games as you do and do throughout the year. When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Marketing group come up with that for him. Those were his phrases that he came up with, that he believed in.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes, because there's only one thing that counts. Just win.
Yo, welcome to the SC Raiders Talk, also the RaiderTwuan channel. We're the 2-for-1 Nation podcast, man. Another episode, another live. You feel me? Like I said right now, I'm the SC Raiders Talk, aka your boy Eric. And over here, home of the congregation and the Brown Crackers, my brother, the other half of the 2-for-1 Nation podcast, RaiderTwuan in the video. What's good, Twuan?
Hey, what's up? Two brothers for one nation. Y'all know it's Raider Nation.
That's a fact. It's a fact, and we're here today with a lot to talk about. A lot of things have transpired in the last, I would say, even 4 or 5 days. But of course, one being obviously Davante Adams. There were some things that came out today in a presser. If you guys missed that, you'll see it. We'll talk about it. Also, Michael Mayer's situation, that we figured out what was actually happening with him. Max Crosby, as well as the Broncos game and also the Steelers game. Now, as of, I believe it was today, we have a new quarterback in the starting role. So now Minshew benched, O'Connell starts. So we'll talk about all these things, mostly the news instead of the preview and recap, because I ain't gonna lie, there's more to talk about on the news side of things than the actual game. Because that game was horrendous. But let me shout out who's here so far, man. I appreciate you guys for being here. My 2 cents. Salute SoCal South. Salute Circus Raider in the building. What's good, Circus? Good to see you, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Ray Love. Salute Desert Rat in the building. What's good? What's good? Good to see you, man. Ray Love in the building. What's good? Let me I don't know why we never have this ready right here. Shout out to Willie Wayne. What's good? Raider Ben in the building. What's good, Ben? Good to see you. Daniel Berry. Salute. AOC, time. Let's fucking go. We go talk about it, man. Twuan, first of all, man, how you feeling, man? How you feeling after that loss and the last couple of days, man?
Never should have happened. Here we go again, giving a team some hope when they shouldn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? We made Bo Nix look like a Hall of Fame quarterback. And we know what defense they had. Their defense, to be honest with you, I don't even think their defense played that well. They just capitalized on our turnovers. You know what I'm saying? And that's what kind of had them in the game. When you look at the statistics of the game, you look at that, we should have won that game. I think they were like 3 for 12 in third down. You know what I'm saying? There was a whole bunch of things. We were better in third down. But what happens when you turn the ball over? You know what I'm saying? And that's what's been happening as of recent in regards to a specific position on this team. So it's disheartening because, everybody wants to talk about the record and how, we've been winning since da-da-da-da-da. That's always going to change. but how we played, and how we responded even after some of the things where we could have turned things around. They just didn't have that fight back.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
It was disappointing, man. And at the end of the day, what can we say, man? Another year, man. A year that was so promising in the beginning, bro. And again, I don't know, silly me, right? Silly me for having even hope. When I told myself last year I wasn't gonna get hope, and I got hope, and then I get fucked over. This team has been disappointing. Now I forgot to even mention Wilkins is out for the season. On top of that, so it's just a whole bunch of bullshit, right? First Malcolm Coons, Christian Wilkins, then you got Davante Adams. It just goes on. It's just like it's never ending. I don't know what we need to get rid of for us to stop going through this cursing ass bullshit. But of course, man, we lost to Broncos finally after several years, about 5 years, I believe, since 2019. Disappointing as hell. But I did say, if you guys caught me on the Raider Ben channel for the Just Win Baby podcast, stuff like that, man, I was there talking about it. I said, hey, I don't be surprised if it's going to be, well, I said, don't be surprised if it's closer. I was expecting a close game, and it wasn't even a close game if you really look at it. So it sucked. It sucked. To be wrong right there, because I thought we really, at least had a chance, or at least been a close game, but it wasn't. And that just shows the what our team is at to this point. And at the end of the day, Minshew gets benched for that. Obviously Aidan O'Connell gets the start, which we'll talk about that to see if that was the right decision or bad decision. But for me, as far as the Broncos game, very disappointing. I mean, it's like 1 week we're looking good, promising, and then the next week is just a whole bunch of BS. I want to doubt if this upcoming week we look promising again, and then it's just like a little bit of what is it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Pattern. It's like a pattern over and over again this year. And I hope things change. I'm not gonna say we're gonna tank or this bullshit that I'm hearing. People are saying to tank and all this shit. First of all, if you really watch college football, there's really nobody to tank for, even if you had that mentality. Let's just throw that out there now. So, that whole tanky shit is not a part of, the commitment to excellence, regardless of it, right? So, that's what it is. But for me, I'm gonna continue doing what I've been doing even before the Broncos game, week by week. I'm gonna take it week by week. I'm not gonna say I want this loss. Hell no. Tanking is not a thing over here in this channel at all. Hell no. I don't want to tank. I want to win. And now Aidan O'Connell gets the start, so we're gonna see what he's capable of. And let me shout out everybody that's coming on in, man. I see a couple people more coming on in. Salute to everybody, man. At the shot ability, salute. Good to see you, man. My 2 cents. Jaw Raider was good. Jaw Raider. Adams ain't slick. He's supposed to smile with number 12 emoji. Then took it down. He ain't slick. Unfollowed Booger Man. I don't know. Y'all say the Booger Man. I don't know who the fuck the Booger Man is. I'm confused. Somebody give me a name. Shout out to Jaw Raider, man. Willie Wayne was good. Good to see you guys, man. Salute. Hope all as well. Raider family in the building was good. Nobody home was good. They got to sell some tickets. Salute. Cam Ward grew up a Raiders fan, just to let the Raider chat know, but I don't want to tank. Hell no. Yeah, Cam Ward, somebody you don't even need to tank for, right? My 2 cents, things looking they might change. Aidan getting the start. Davante trade talks on pause. We shall see. Shout out to All Eyes on G. Was good. Salute. Gardner got caught eating his. Oh, that's why. Okay, that's who it is. Okay, now I got it. But obviously, man, anything else you wanted to touch up upon about that game, Tom, before we go on to the news, man?
It's just frustrating, you know what I'm saying? Because again, they should have cleared. This game should have been easy, easy takings. I think there was some positives offensively, you know what I'm saying? But when you put the ball, you know what I'm saying, in harm's way, that's what you're gonna get, and that's what some of us felt about who that was, at quarterback that's responsible for a lot of that. And that's what we get.
Yeah. It's a fact. Shout out to Will Notes in the building. What's good, Will Notes? Good to see you, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Hey, don't put that in the chat today. All right? Don't put this in the chat today. All right? I know my Dodgers right now are down in the series. Don't do that. All right? Not today. We talk about the Raiders, all right? Not today. Shout out to We the People. Salute. Good to see you, man. We the People. Good to see you, man. Always good to see everybody, man. Hopefully everybody's having a blessed week, man. A more blessed week than what the fuck we had to see last week, right? But continuing on now. Now, time for some news. You feel me? Some news. Or you want to first do the segment, Twuan? Which one you want to do? The news first or the segment first?
Hey, let's you know what? Let's go with the segment.
All right, let's do it, man. If you guys don't know what segment I'm talking about, every single week, this is one of my favorite things during the show because this is the time where Twuan goes off on somebody on the team, whether it's coaching staff, players, or even the owner. Who knows? But of course, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about the What You Doing Wednesdays. Twuan, take it away.
Hey, What You Doing Wednesdays is where we talk about somebody that when we watched the game, we yelled at the TV and said, hey, what are you doing? And everybody's had that experience, especially if you are part of the Raider Nation. Whether win or lose, there's somebody out there that we're yelling at the TV saying, what are you doing? Or, hey, you might have been doing that at the game, right? So this guy, the person that gets the What You Doing Wednesdays is Gardner Minshew. What are you doing? Look, man, this is the second time, you know what I'm saying, you've been on What You Doing Wednesdays. You are currently now the repeat offender of What You Doing Wednesdays. What are you doing, man? Hey, you know your head coach. You know your head coach AP has told us up and down at the quarterback position, the last thing he needs for you to do is turn the ball over. And what do? You turn the ball over. Guess what? Everybody wants to get on Luke Getsy. I'm not getting on Luke Getsy. Why? Because the interception that Gardner Minshew threw was a great call from Luke Getsy. It was a great call where all Gardner Minshew had to do was dump the ball off to Brock Bowers, and guess what he did? Sailed it over his head and a little bit past him. What are you doing? Not only are you throwing one interception, but you double down and throw two interceptions. Not one, but two. Now, this one, everybody wants to talk about, the first one was horrible. No, the second one was even worse. How are you going to throw the ball when the cornerback is in front of the wide receiver and the safety is immediately right behind him? What are you doing? And even more than that, you're going to throw it to Trey Tucker? Oh, when has Trey Tucker ever been a person to jump over somebody and catch the ball? What are you doing? You know what we're trying to do. Come on now. And you know what's going on, man. Look, let me break this down to you. There's one thing in thinking, and there's also one thing in knowing, okay? Let me break this down for people that ain't getting what I'm saying. There's one thing when you think you're playing fine versus when you know you're playing fine. And guess what, Gardner Minshew? You was out there playing like you think you were playing fine. And because you think you're playing fine, it's time for you to sit the pine. Because guess what? We trying to win, baby.
And that's, of course, the What You Doing Wednesdays. Gardner Minshew on the hot seat there. Of course, for me, this is just another season of being a Raiders fan, huh? That's all I can say, man, to summarize it. I mean, this shit is a whole shithole. But of course, I will say, what happened?
Put it down in the chat, WYD. What player do you think What You Doing Wednesdays? What You Doing Wednesdays? Any player that you feel needs to be What You Doing Wednesdays, put it in the chat, WYD.
The fact, and I will give the What You Doing Wednesdays for me, Adam Butler. Why the hell are you tackling a guy that's already injured? What the fuck is wrong with you? But we're not gonna get into that, right? There goes Christian Wilkins for the season, huh? That's great. That's great news, right? Great news. Just kidding. That was sarcasm for anybody that didn't know what sarcasm is.
You might not have to think.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what he was talking about with the interceptions, man, there was one where Brock Bowers was practically open, and he overthrew a tight end of his caliber. Just to throw
Per-
that out there, and then he also gave it to Trey Tucker when literally I think three receivers were open. I rewatched the film. There was like 2 to 3 people open, so that's great. So of course, but also I will say Luke Getzey also has fault in a lot of things, but that game right there specifically, bro, people were open and they weren't getting hit. So that's what sucks. But now Aidan O'Connell, which this takes me to the next segment. AOC, Aidan O'Connell, number 12. The mustache, some may say the real mustache of the team. The boy from Purdue gets the start against the Steelers coming up. How does everybody feel about this? Is it a good decision? Bad decision? What y'all thinking, man? Of course, shout out to Cool Kev coming on in. Salute, salute. Twuan, good or bad decision? Go ahead. Take it away.
Hey, look, I said it, you know what I'm saying, from the get that I felt that AOC should have been the starting quarterback of this team. And, of course, there's some benefits to foreseen benefits of having Minshew, right? Everybody was talking about the mobility, but when you have issues like, Eric was saying and what I've been saying in regards to the defense of Getsy, that when I go back and look at this tape and when I start looking at these games, there's people that are wide open. You know what I'm saying? And whose fault is it that, you know what I'm saying, those people are wide open? That's on the quarterback to not get them the ball. You know what I'm saying? Well, to get them the ball. You know what I'm saying? And that's the issue. That's really the issue with it. So I'm with AOC. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping that, and I'm still hoping that this offensive line can solidify itself even more in blocking and stuff like that, because I think it's going to be needed a little more than what we had with Minshew. But there's been times in the past couple of games where the pocket was clean and the ball wasn't delivered where it needed to be delivered to. And one thing that I can say with AOC, you know what I'm saying, with Aidan O'Connell, is that if you give him a pocket and he can, he can plant his foot and throw it, he's gonna get it to those people of importance. And it's kind of interesting, that we got some other news because of this news, I think. But we can talk about that a little later. But AOC being the quarterback, I think it's about time. It sucks, and I'll say this too. Even though I'm saying it's about time, I think it sucks that AOC has to come in a situation like this. Every single situation that AOC has been donned as a starting quarterback has came because the guys in front of him were failures. You know what I'm saying? And that's not fair to, a young quarterback like that. One of the things that benefits a young quarterback is having the off season and having, the extra time to perfect, his game in regards to quarterback. I'm glad that he has, at least he kind of has a full week, that hopefully Getsy is, hey, this is what I like for you as a quarterback, and we can do this because you're our quarterback. But I really was hoping that AOC would have, a good off season and, really get off running, where it's not like he's done thus far in his career and is trying to help us put out fires at quarterback.
Before I give my thoughts, of course, this is what Antonio Pierce had to say about the Aidan O'Connell decision. It was my decision. Just felt it was the best for our offense moving forward. What I respected the most is when we named Gardner the starter, O'Connell said, all right, I'm going to be the best scout team quarterback possible. And he was lighting our ass up. Pierce said every day he gave us the best look and he walked around with a smile on his face. He's just a great teammate. All of those things factor into our decisions. Of course, I made a prediction in the offseason. If you watched me before, you would know this prediction. I said that Aidan O'Connell would be the starter by midway through the season. It's not midway through the season yet, and they already named the starter. So I was wrong and right at the same time. I knew he was going to start eventually. I thought it was going to be mid-season, but it was earlier. And my whole prediction was based on Gardner, right? When I watched Gardner, obviously I'm the type of guy to say, what have you done lately, right? And Gardner Minshew last year with the Colts did pretty damn good. I mean, take what you want from him. He did pretty damn good. And then he comes over here. He looks scared. He looks rattled. And he doesn't look like the same Gardner Minshew I've been watching for a long time. And you start to question what can be the factors to that, right? Could it be the drama, right? Maybe surrounding the team getting to him. Maybe he's never been on the team that has so much around him, right? Like this. Or maybe having a new head coach and offensive coordinator try to make it work. Maybe that's what could do it, right? There's a lot of factors that could go into it. But at the end of the day, when you look at Aidan O'Connell and you look at Gardner Minshew, these two guys are two different people. Gardner Minshew is more mobile. He is, if you watch this tape before the Raiders, he was more mobile than Aidan O'Connell. And if we watch he is. But like somebody said in the chat earlier, this year it looked like Aidan O'Connell was more mobile. And we've seen clips and clips and clips and clips and film and all these things of Aidan O'Connell in practicing the mobility, practicing stepping up in the pocket. And that's something that I always had in the back of my brain. But of course, now Aidan O'Connell gets to start. I think it's the right decision. I think for sure the right decision. Now, the only question I have is the offensive line. I always said if Aidan O'Connell is going to start, he's got to have an offensive line. The offensive line is a little bit, up in the air for me still. I hope they could get it together. Hopefully a change of quarterback is what they needed. Maybe they just weren't used to a Gardner Minshew type or whatever the case may be. There wasn't communication between the line and the quarterback. But a change needed to happen. I don't care if it was Trey Tucker throwing the ball or Jacoby Myers throwing the ball. A change needed to happen, and it needed to happen now. Same thing with Zamir White a week ago. He needed to go. And these are decisions that should have been made earlier, and maybe it would have dictated some of the outcomes in a positive way or even a negative way, right? But obviously, we may never know. But now moving forward, we play the Steelers, a great defense. Aidan O'Connell's true test here for first game. See what he's learned behind Gardner Minshew as far as veteran knowledge, and see what he learned behind Antonio Pearson, all these guys and everybody talking to him. I mean, it's kind of, I don't want to throw this like theory out there, right? But look, if you look at the timeline, right? Aidan O'Connell gets mentioned as the starter, and out of a sudden Davante Adams and Antonio Pierce have a talk, and now they're good. It's just something to throw out there, right? Something to think about, right? Something to think about.
Right.
Was it because Davante Adams didn't like Gardner Minshew? Or it's just a coincidence that it happened the same day or less than 24 hours apart, right? Maybe it's a coincidence, but it's just something to think about. Something to think about. So shout out to NorCal Raider Jesse in the building. What up, NorCal? Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Shout out to Westside Media. Earn in the building. What's good? Good to see you, man. Salute to everybody coming on in, man. I don't know if I saluted you, though. Well, no, it's good to see you, man. I seen you subscribed. I appreciate that. And if anybody else is new here, man, hopefully you like the content. Subscribe if you're good. Raider Paul, our fellow Gardner Minshew #1 fan. If you haven't been on the channel, this is Gardner Minshew's #1 fan. He says Raiders season over AOC. There you go. The hatred for AOC is there. That's our fellow Gardner Minshew fan there. Shout out to Super Camrion. Good to see you. Steelers have injuries, so Raiders could survive another game, but without Wilkins, Najee could gash us. I heard it's still likely they're trading him if he don't restructure for 2025. So this is the last chance for AOC, Tay, and a lot of people. Let's see how the season goes. So correct me if I'm wrong, right, y'all? There was I seen two different reports today. One report saying that Davante Adams will play against the Steelers, and then another report saying that he won't. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. I don't know what it's still 50-50, it looks like. But in my opinion, if Davante Adams plays against the Steelers, that whole theory I have about Aidan O'Connell being named starter, that could play a factor. That could show, hey, maybe Davante Adams never liked Gardner Minshew, and that's probably why he wanted out. And maybe it was never to do with the team. I mean, who knows, right? It's all different things, right? It's whatever you want to think, right?
How
Go ahead.
how many miss, how many, I know everybody wants to talk about DA dropping passes, but how many missed passes were thrown in that direction, and they weren't on connection. One thing, and I'll say this, and here I am on the AOC bus. How many times have we seen AOC throw the ball to Davante Adams, and what was the result of that? You know what I'm saying? So, that was one of the things when I talked about it last week, when we were talking about, did this organization, at that time we were talking about the trade, and it's like, did we fail DA? You know what I'm saying? Like, DA's like, dude, I need someone that can deliver me the ball. And you got this guy out here and he's not up to par. Now, when you start looking at, everybody wants to look at statistics, but how many interceptions? Let's count how many interceptions does Minshew have a game? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there was only one time he didn't throw an interception, and it was because they decided to run the heck out of the ball. So, you have that there, and I think everything's kind of leaning towards that. It's kind of hard not to put those two together. Like, oh, now AOC's in. Okay, now I'm ready to play ball. You know what I'm saying? At least I know he's going to be able to throw the ball to me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to worry about going to the right and the ball's going to be on my left. Like, so it makes sense. And especially since we passed, issues with him. He already said that, hey, I like AOC at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to go away from that. So, it's like, you don't want to put it together, but the timeline is close.
It's a fact. Shout out to Raider Pete in the building. Was good. Low-key, Minshew's arm isn't strong enough throwing from the pocket. If you notice, it's not a lot of timing routes being thrown. And that's a fact, Will Notes. I kind of talked about this in the offseason between the two quarterbacks when it was a quarterback battle. I always say Aidan O'Connell had a better arm than Minshew. It was 100%. Minshew wasn't always known for his arm. He was always known for his knowledge of the game, his ability to boost up the people around him, just being a great locker room guy, and also on top of that, being mobile. That was his strongest suit. With Aidan O'Connell, he kind of struggled last season with kind of pretty much knowing his way around the pocket. And then he was doing everything he can over the offseason to work on that. But he did for sure have a better arm than Minshew. Accuracy-wise, some may say they're the same. I say Aidan O'Connell's a little bit better, in my opinion. I think he's better in the accuracy range. So we got to see what happens. At the end of the day, he's going to play a ferocious Steelers defense, right? Defense that has always carried them in the last few seasons. And even for years, even when Steel Curtain was a thing and all those things, their defense always been the strongest suit. So for sure, we're going to see that. We're also going to see Justin Fields. I think it's Justin Fields starting for them, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to see Fields, man. Also, that our defense has to play with the Wilkins thing happening. I want to see how this defensive line performs. Obviously, I seen the injury report today. A lot of people did not participate, but I'm hoping tomorrow people participate. Some people like Davante Adams didn't participate, Max Crosby, and a couple others for sure. But obviously, moving on here in the next thing, this is kind of like probably going to be a quick one because obviously last week we started talking about it, but we didn't know what the circumstances was. Some people were speculating that it was a trade, business decision, and other people were speculating that maybe personal reasons. And of course, Michael Mayer came out and pretty much we figured out that it was personal reasons, family, stuff like that, something urgent. So hopefully, you feel me, prayers to him, prayers to whatever he's going through and stuff like that. I don't know the exact thing, so I'm not going to comment on that, but I will say prayers to Michael Mayer. Hopefully he gets that figured out and stuff like that, and he gets good. At the end of the day, sometimes your mental health and stuff outside of football is more important than football itself. And that's what it is with Michael Mayer. Anything you want to say about Michael Mayer, man?
Yeah, it's leaning more towards the mental health thing, and that's perfectly fine. This is something that, Michael Mayer has been dealing with even before coming on to the Raiders. And I'm glad that we were able to, allow him that time to deal what he's dealing with. Of course, he's still battling that, and that's perfectly fine. I put it out on my Twitter, the video of Marshawn Lynch when he talked about, taking care of your mentals and your chicken, and you know what I'm saying. You know how Marshawn Lynch does it. If you want to check that out, definitely check that out on X. But it's important, you know what I'm saying, and I'm glad that the organization is supporting him in this time, and Michael Mayer, if you watching this, know that the Raider Nation is also supporting you, and keeping you in prayers and thoughts, in this time. I'm glad that even though we're a lot of people were trying to search and try to find out what Michael Mayer was doing, we also kind of gave him that respect and didn't really go too far into speculation, but we're glad that it got cleared up, and definitely we keep you in their prayers and thoughts.
It's a fact, man. And now, obviously, moving forward, man, to the next news. Obviously, Michael Mayer, prayers, man. Raider Nation behind you. Hopefully, you could come back stronger than ever, man, and stuff like that. And hopefully, everything gets situated, what you're going through. But moving on to the next news of business. This, I'm going to let Twuan talk about it because I don't know much about it, to be honest. Just to be real with everybody, I'm not going to sit here and talk about something I really don't know. But Twuan, talk to us about Max Crosby versus Pat McAfee and shit.
Hey, so Max Crosby came out, it was like a scrum. Normally they put them in the scrums. They like when they're in the locker room, they're sitting around and they ask questions, and Max Crosby comes up there and he starts talking about how some people in the media decide to speak on his name, and it was just interesting that he specifically called out Pat McAfee's show, and we know Lombardi is a number one hater of the Raider Nation, even though he was a part of the organization. And you know what it really is. It's anytime somebody gets fired from their job, they always say F that job. And that's what Lombardi really is. Anytime, something's going on with the Raiders, he's always trying to dig extra deep in it, trying to figure out, something to make bigger than what it is. And Max Crosby was like, look, everybody knows in this locker room what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows in this locker room who I'm actually for. You know what I'm saying? So that's all that really matters to me. And if you know what I'm saying, pretty much keep your name out my mouth. Keep my name out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I was gonna say, hey, Max Crosby, hey, I know you cool with Dana White, you know what I'm saying, and USC. I know you got a little, you know what I'm saying, I know you got them little mitts, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we might need to set up something, you know what I'm saying? We might need to get, Lombardi and McAfee in the octagon, and let's see who wants to talk. You know what I'm saying? Talk with them hands. So, hey, that's my suggestion. Hey, Max Crosby, hey, get him in the octagon and tell them to keep your name out their mouth.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of this, I see some comments. I want to get to some of the comments. Shout out to everybody, man. We all know the real Ray Fest when we lost because of AP. It was 10-10 before the second half. Had the ball. We ran no points. Let's give the ball back to Denver. Coach JB called out Minshew nose picking. I love Max for calling out bitch ass Lombardi. That's a fact. Always the corniest one talking about who's a real fan and not. Lombardi wasn't wrong about AP. He don't know shit about offense. Told y'all to get hard balls. Well, sir, let me just show you something real quick. Let me share my screen real quick to comment on what you're saying right there. You feel me? Let me share my screen real quick. As you can see, Antonio Pierce was a linebacker when he played football, right? What side of the football does a linebacker play? Defense. What else? Last year, he was our linebackers coach. He was also head coach, but he scouted majority. I mean, besides getting Jaden Daniels and Brandon Ayuk, he scouted Jack Jones and some defensive players out there. So, yes, no duh, he's not gonna be a lot focused on offense. He's a defensive guy, bro. Like, he's a defensive guy. Like, I think people forget that he's a defensive minded guy. Harbaugh's an offensive minded guy. And at the end of the day, the Chargers ain't doing any better than us, and I mean, they're going through injuries themselves. But let's be honest, if we would have made some tweaks in the first game, we could have beat the Chargers.
I think there's some frustration too in regards to some people that may not understand, and that's perfectly fine because we're here to educate. Antonio Pierce as a head coach is really letting his coordinators do what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? If the offense ain't, up to par, then that's really he's leaning. Everything is going through Luke Getsy on the offensive side of the ball. Same thing with Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham is handling the defense. Yeah. Now, can he suggest certain things? Of course, because he's the head coach. But in regards to him, everybody's like, oh, fire AP, or what I'm saying, it's like, no, like, you got to understand who's actually really to blame in a lot of these situations, and that's not. A lot of it's not really, AP. Now, can he crack down on some people? Yes, he can. But in regards to the X's and O's of things, he leans to his coordinators to take care of that. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm okay with not having a head coach that, is handling, coordinator and being a head coach, because that was one of the issues that I had with McDaniels. You know what I'm saying? I felt like McDaniels being a head coach and offensive coordinator, he couldn't do both. So I'm glad that they're letting each other do their job. It's just that they got to do better overall.
Here's the thing about AP, and at the end of the day, AP, he's a guy that's learning. He was never a head coach, man. I mean, in the professional level, at the NFL level, we knew that. If you looked at the realistic of AP, he's always a guy that's learning, at the end of the day. And some may say, why did we get a learning coach? Well, that's what it is, right? Most of the Raider Nation wanted him because of the culture he was building, the culture outside of football, pretty much. Bringing back the Raider Nation, bringing back the culture, you feel me, and stuff like that. And AP was always a guy of players, right? He's always asking players how you doing, stuff like that. And obviously that's why when the Davante Adams situation happened, it kind of hit me through left field, because it was like, damn, like, usually this doesn't happen with AP that much. But I'm glad they ended up getting, you feel me, together, talked about it. But AP was never the guy that was gonna come in here like if Harbaugh was here, and change everything, be hands-on with everything as far as getting players here and there, and pretty much doing what they're doing at the Chargers. Obviously, he's not a Sean Payton. He's not a Harbaugh, either Harbaugh brothers. He's not Bill Belichick, he's, the realistic of it. He's a guy that's building a culture, good with the players, a player's coach, a player, an ex-player, a guy that's learning, right? And that's just the reality of it. Now, is that something majority of the fan base wanted? Yes. Is it also what the other side of the fan base is seeing? Was saying that he wasn't a head coach, we shouldn't have got him. Yeah, of course, and it kind of looks like every week it's getting closer to either one side or the other. When we were winning, when we won, obviously, when we beat the Ravens, everybody was leaning towards, AP could actually be doing something. And then we lost the next week, and then it's AP is garbage and stuff like this. It's like an every week basis. He's very inconsistent in things he's do. But if you really look at what type of coach he is, he's a guy that allows everybody to coordinate. Offensive coordinator, do your job. Offensive coordinator, do your job. Defensive coordinator, do your job. Defensive coordinator, do your job. Get your shit together. Do what you can. Boom. My job is just to use the timeouts and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, he's been fucking up in the timeouts itself. But then when you look at the game against the Broncos, for instance, me, and this is coming out of my mouth, right? SC Raiders Talk, aka Eric, right? This is coming out of me. I don't know what other content creators say or what they have said about these things, because obviously I'll be really busy myself, so I can't get to a lot of shows. But the Broncos game was not on AP. And let me tell you why. Ever since that interception with Gardner Minshew, everything turned. Everything got flipped upside down. Minshew was garbage, whether you want to say it or not. He was garbage against the Broncos. He missed two open receivers when he threw it to Trey Tucker, and then he missed Brock Bowers for the easiest of touchdowns. Let's just say the interceptions never happened, right? Never happened. We scored on both of those plays. The momentum would have never swung the Broncos' way ever. It would have never swung ever in that game if it wasn't for that interception. Surtain, was it Surtain that picked it off? It was Surtain, right? That picked it off. He picked it off for 90 plus yards, bro. 90. We were gonna score. Brock Bowers was open. And he overthrew him. So the Broncos game was not on AP. Will I say the games prior to that was on AP? Yeah. The timeout that happened in our first loss obviously was him. He fucked up. Boom. The next time, some things about not getting in people's faces and stuff and kind of allowing other people, boom, also his fault. Yes. That's the life of a rookie coach, y'all. Rookie mistakes. That's just what it's the reality of it. It's the reality of it, you know, and people are like, he's not a head coach. Yeah, that's true. He's not, because he hasn't been in the professional level, the NFL level. And that's the reality of it. We brought him in because he was a guy that was culture building and a player's coach and a guy that is trying to bring, he wants to win. At the end of the day, whether his decisions are bad or not, which obviously they were bad at cases, he wants to win. Now, we got to see what happens. At this point, we just got to accept it. I mean, what can we do? We fire him. Who's the replacement? That's my question to whoever wants to kick him off already. Who's the replacement?
I gotta ask the question, and I hate to ask that because I am a Raider fan. But let's be really honest. What head coach, proven head coach, will want to come over here? I'll wait. So if you name a head coach, oh, he should be the head coach of the Raiders, it's going to be a head coach that's never, it's going to be a coordinator that's never been a head coach. So I say roll with it. Again, it's a rookie, right? And we already knew that having a rookie head coach, this is what we were going to have. There was going to be some calls that were going to be questionable, but us bouncing every time we want to get rid of it, you know, every time we have a bad game, or every time we have a semblance of a losing season, oh, we need to get rid of everybody and scrap everybody, and that ain't helping the situation. But if you can bring me somebody that's a veteran head coach, someone that's been in the league and know what they're doing, and they want to be a head coach over here, let me know who that is, please, because I've been searching for that, and still haven't found it.
That's a fact. And just to show you something real quick, give me a second. Let me try to. Here we go. If you look at it here, right? Bro, like, hold on. Let me see if I could slow it down real quick. Give me a second. Let me see. Playback. Let's do 20. Why is it not working? Just do this. I don't know how more wide open Brock Bowers needed to be, bro. Like, I don't. Even if I see some people, or I think Paul is saying that he threw to Jacoby Myers. Even if he threw to Jacoby Myers, that's a bad decision. You have Brock Bowers open regardless. And if it was to Brock Bowers, he overthrew him.
Why
look at the distance?
He would literally have to throw it over Brock Bowers, hit him, and there's a defender. Actually, I wish we had a little more of that, but a defender's right on the back of Jacoby.
Yeah.
So in this play, it's like a level play. So you actually have 3 levels. You have the top level, and I think that was Trey Tucker that was actually at the top. He was supposed to be more towards the back of the back pylon area. And then Jacoby Myers was like the intermediate, and then Brock Bowers is like, under that. So literally all he had to do was give it to Brock Bowers. And even if Brock Bowers was hella slow getting to the end zone, all Michael Mayer had to do was stop because his defender was on his back. So he would have blocked the guy that would have been able to tackle, you know what I'm saying, Brock Bowers from getting into the end zone. So it was a very, that's why I said it, when I said what you do on Wednesdays, like when I went back and looked at this tape and looked at this specific play over and over and over again, it was the perfect play call. We're first and goal. Okay. What do we normally do on first down? Everybody knows this as a Raider. We run the ball. So guess what the defense thought? Run. That's why the play action works so well in first and goal in this situation. And all he had to do was a dump off, and he failed that.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, would I have by rather run? Yeah, but it would have been the obvious call, right? People, obviously the Broncos would have known the run. The run wasn't working because the Broncos defense actually good, but you see it right there, man. Like that, regardless of what you want to say that you should have ran or something, that was a good play call. The guy's open. The whole point of a play call is to make sure somebody's open. And usually on play actions, it's usually the tight end and Getsy's system that gets the ball. And, Gardner Minshew already came out and said that it was supposed to go to Brock Bowers. So, just look at the score real quick, y'all. Just look. If they would have never got this interception, you could not tell me the momentum would have not swung. Bro, we would have scored here 17-3, second quarter. The momentum would have never been on the Broncos side. 17-3. They tied it up with this shit. And I don't even want to watch the rest of this shit because he takes it all the way. So, as much as I don't like Getsy either, I don't like Getsy. That was not on Getsy there. That was on Gardner.
It was the perfect call, man. Like, because I was watching it. You know what I'm saying? We all watched the game, and I was like, "Oh, first and goal. Okay, we're going to run it."
I swear, Pyro. Facts.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh, play action! It's about to go down." And yeah, it went down.
Yeah. Back shout out to Pyro, man. Yeah, Pyro. It sucks, man. It's. I didn't have hope last year. I have hope this year, and then I get, you feel me? Yeah, I don't have hope no more. But I will be believing in the Raiders every week, man. At the end of the day, hopefully they win, right? That's every season for me, But another disappointing season where a lot of shit is going on. Obviously, AOC gets to start. Christian Wilkins out for the season. Malcolm Kuntz in the beginning out for the season. Davante Adams fiasco. Max Crosby injured. It's so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. AP liking posts. It's every season, man. Something happens, right? You go back to the Henry Ruggs situation, just in recent time, and then you go to the closer with last year with the whole Jimmy Garoppolo, McDaniels, CJ Stroud should have been picked. But yeah. There's a lot of things wrong with the offense, and Luke Getsy is one of those problems, and Gardner Minshew was the other problem, and the other problem was the run game. At a certain point, it was the run game a lot. But obviously, you see what they did over the Broncos game. That 115 yards combined as a run. 2 of them came from Trey Tucker, and 1 of them came from DJ Turner. They both had 8 and 5 yards. Gardner Minshew had 22 yards rushing. Alexander Madison had 38 yards. And then Amir Abdullah, 42 yards with 5 carries. Of course, this is the state of a Broncos defense that I said not to overestimate, man. They were finally getting it together, and they showed it. So,
maybe I'm still on the Getsy bus. I'm teetering. Y'all know, because last week I was, on Getsy, right? Mm-hmm. But listen to me. Mm-hmm. what if AOC goes out there and we're moving the ball? Hitting those guys that we said were open. Is that on Getsy? Or was that really Minshew that was sneaking it up? That's going to be the question, because like I'm sitting here and I'm like thinking like, okay, if AOC goes in and starts, I'm not saying he's going to, all of a sudden just be like an all pro kind of guy, but like some of these throws that we said, hey, if Minshew would have hit that, we would have been, moving, or we would have been able to get three out of 7, or whatever the situation was. But what if AOC's able to do that part of it? I'm not saying he's going to be able to run out the pocket and run for first downs and all that stuff, but if he's actually able to deliver the ball in the way that it should be, according to the way Getsy runs the offense. Is it really Getsy, or is it on Minshew?
For me, it's both. Luke Getsy had horrible calls in multiple games, but also Minshew had horrible. It's just they don't work, man. You need at least one of them has to work, and I think in this last previous game, most of it is on Gardner Minshew against the Broncos. I don't think Getsy really has that much fault in against the Broncos. I think it's more of Minshew's decision making and stuff. The games before that, obviously, Getsy did have questionable calls on certain things, but I'll say a little bit of both. But I will say that as of the most recent game, it was Gardner Minshew, the reason that happened. Go ahead.
Now I will get on Getsy though. You know what I'm saying? I will get on Getsy for the let's get some variety, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not, every time you do the run pass combination, I think everybody knows that's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So surprise them, like, hey, like the goal line situation. That was a surprise. I think everybody thought we was going to run it, and then all of a sudden it was a play action type of situation. So if he can, give us some flavor that way, I think I get on him more because of that than the playbook itself. I think the playbook is still good. I think it's kind of the sequence in which he's possibly calling out of that playbook. That's what I kind of get on him for, as an offensive coordinator.
It's a fact. Shout out to Tupo. Tupo was good. Good to see everybody coming on in, man. Salute. If you guys can, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. But of course, now leading into the next thing, which is obviously, just quick thoughts real quick, man. Is it Getsy's play call or his playbook, man? Go ahead.
Yeah, kind of like what I was saying. I think and I'm gonna ride with that. I think it's the sequence in which he calls the plays. I think the playbook is fine. I think there again, when I go back and look at what the meat that was left on the bone, like there's some stuff out there. There was people, how many times we talked about early in the game where, hey, Tucker was, streaking up the field wide open and our quarterback failed to hit him, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason. So there's people open in this playbook, but I think it's a sequence in which sometimes he calls it where it kind of does get monotonous, where run, okay, we're third and 7, okay, we're passing it, you know what I'm saying, or run, and now we're third and 11 because someone held or something like that, and so if he can change that up, I think I'm fine with this playbook.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna say it's more play call.
I think it's play call too. Just quick thoughts for me. Just play call, obviously. And peace out, Paul. But yeah, I'm not getting too much hype over AOC. I think I'm not hype about this team right now. I'm more of I'm gonna just watch Raiders football, man, and that's what I've done all my life. Watch Raiders football every week and stuff like that, every season. See how it goes. But I will say this Sunday is gonna be very telling. Very telling, because if AOC plays good against a really good defense, then we could start putting the blame really 110% on certain people. It all has to do with how AOC plays. I'm believing in AOC because at the end of the day, I believed in Gardner Minshew. I believe on anybody that's under center at the end of the day, because if we don't believe in them, then what's the point of believing in the team? So obviously, I believe in AOC. I believe in his capabilities. Hopefully, he shows it, performs good against a good defense. Of course, this leads me to the Steelers game. A quick little thoughts about the Steelers game. For me, I'm gonna start it off. Quick little thoughts for me is just that the Steelers have a really good defense. It's another week of playing a really good defense and an all right offense. Najee Harris is starting to get going. Justin Fields obviously has 5 touchdowns, 1 interception for the season. Not playing too bad himself. Pickens is one of their best, if not the not best, but number 1 receiver. Obviously, Pickens there. Of course, somebody that I like coming out of Georgia, man. Ever since he came out of Georgia and stuff like that. So that's somebody that we need to look at. We have a lot of injuries. They have a lot of injuries. If we look at the injury report, which let me see if I could get it out real quick for you guys, to tell you guys the injury report on both sides. There's a lot of injuries. So for us, Davante Adams, Max Crosby, Michael Mayer, Jacoby Myers, Colton Miller, Jackson Powers Johnson, and Zamir White all did not participate. Tommy Eichenberg, Tyreek McAllister, Thayer Munford, Dylan Parham, DeCamerion Richardson, and DJ Turner and Trey Taylor all have limited participation. Then Devon Diablo, Trayvon Merrick were 4 participants. And then as far as the Steelers go, Najee Harris, DeMonte Kazee, Nick Herbig, Alex Highsmith, Isaac Simulo, and Cordell Patterson, TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, and DeMarvin Leo all did not participate. And at that point, Najee Harris, TJ Watt, and Cameron Hayward all were rested. That's what it says on the injury report. And then 4 participant was Russell Wilson. Obviously, Russell Wilson's back there. But I think it's going to be most likely Justin Fields throwing the ball. If they play bad against us, don't be surprised if a quarterback change happens with Russell Wilson, right? But obviously a lot of injuries, man. Talk to me about this game, though, Twuan. How are you feeling about this game? And shout out to Rambo Adventure. Shout out to Thailand in the building.
It's going to be interesting to see how our offensive line plays against their D line. And I think that's going to be the telltale sign of this game. I think, if we can kind of keep TJ cool, you know what I'm saying? If we can keep him cool instead of, hot, we might have a chance, and I think that's really where it's going to be. I hope, even with some of the play calling, that they try to get the ball out quick.
Yeah.
Just to kind of alleviate that, pass rush. Because, we don't need TJ Watt to just, take over the game just solely on him. But I think, AOC also, I've seen him get out the ball quick too. So we'll see what Getsy wants to, how he dials that up. But I'm really looking at that D line against our O line.
I am too, and I just hope that, you feel me, they get it together. That's all I can hope for. Of course, go ahead.
No, I just hope that, like you were saying earlier, I hope that they don't do a switch in the middle of the game.
Yeah,
because I think we're really in trouble if we do that. And it's not because Wilson is just a complete, awesome quarterback or anything like that. But in terms of preparation, you prepare for those quarterbacks differently. You know what I'm saying? You're going to prepare for Fields differently in terms of, versus the way that you prepare for Wilson. So trying to adjust to that, it wouldn't fall in our favor. So hopefully whoever the quarterback is, whether it's Wilson or Fields, pretty much I hope that they stay that quarterback the whole game.
Yeah. For me, obviously, like I said, I'm taking it week by week. I don't have predictions or anything, but I'm hoping we could get that dub. Of course, we're playing a Steelers team that always gives us a run for our money. And now a quarterback change. Maybe Davante Adams plays. Max Crosby most likely will play, and a bunch of other people. We're going to see how they perform, man. I hope that this team could get it together. and I hope it's very soon. At the end of the day, the season is not over. Obviously, we're still in the 25% of the season, but at the end of the day, things needed to change regardless of the time. So hopefully these changes are for the better. I'm believing, of course, at the end of the day, I believe in the Raiders every week, man. And hopefully we come out with the dub. But of course, Sunday against the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course. I think we play in Pittsburgh. Am I tripping on that? Oh, no, 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 no. No. We're back at home. We're back at home. So we're playing home against the Steelers, of course. We know the Steeler fans. They travel well. They travel well. And we're gonna see them dumbass, terrible towels. But of course, I'm believing this team. Let's get this dub, man. Hopefully the changes are for the better. Hopefully we could get it fixed. We could get this offense fixed. Everything, man. Hopefully this defense could still play good. Even with Wilkins out, Wilkins was a huge blow to this defense. And a speedy recovery to Wilkins, Malcolm Kuntz, Michael Mayer, everybody else, man, that's injured and going through personal reasons. But hey, just win, baby, man. We're going back home. Let's get this dub. Hopefully, we could perform, man. And hey, AOC, show us what you got, man. At the end of the day, you got two different sides, man. A side that doesn't believe in you and a side that believes in you. AOC, this is your time to shine. If there's a moment in your career where you could show everybody, hey, you've been ready, the way you've talked about in the last few weeks that you're always ready, show us you're ready, man, against a good-ass defense. And Luke Getsy, communicate all those things, man. And yeah, on that note, y'all, of course, another 2 for 1 Nation podcast, man. Twuan, let them know any lives, videos, anything you got cooking up. Let them know, man, and where they can find
I'm
you.
over here whipping the work. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting in the work, ladies and gentlemen. We got lives, videos, and some shorts. You know what I'm saying? I know it's kind of cold. Sometimes it's a little hot, but I still got the shorts, for y'all. So come over to RaiderTwuan, subscribe, okay? Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Those that are on the SC Raiders Talk, come on over to RaiderTwuan and hit that subscribe button for me. Also, everybody on my channel, y'all know what you do. Show some love. And please, if you guys want to watch a replay, come on over to mine, you know what I'm saying, and jump on that one and get my little viewers up a little bit, because I know everybody likes to go to Eric's when we're officially live. But if you're watching a replay, just come on over. Same information. Just come on over to RaiderTwuan and help my viewers go up a little bit. Okay. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm coming at you again this week. And then also stay tuned, because I will be doing my game plan, but then I might be doing a live. Okay. Let me know how you guys feel about that. I might be doing like a immediate live, and I might have some people pull up and just talk about the game plan even more. So come on over, RaiderTwuan. Quit playing with yourself. Subscribe. You're a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else.
That's a fact. Shout out to Pharaoh in the building. It was good. Good to see you. Hope all as well, man. I appreciate all the love, man. I appreciate everybody that came on by. The new subscribers, welcome, man. Hopefully you like the content and moving forward. Of course, shout out to Vic Sacramento. Was good. He says, AOC, I'm happy now. Shout out to Vic Sacramento in the building. Of course, this Wednesday, man, I got a lot of business decisions to make for myself. With a lot of things going on in my personal, I gotta change sometimes. So of course, on Mondays, instead of it being at 5:30, I'm gonna go at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm gonna have a special guest on Monday, so stay tuned for that. You'll see it there. And of course, today on Wednesdays, this might be the new time. I need to talk to Twuan behind the scenes and stuff like that, but this might be the new time for me, 5 o'clock on Wednesdays. And then on top of that, I need to get the YouTube shorts together and all that stuff. I know I've been saying, but I need to really work on that, because that was one of my strongest suits. So yes, man, yes, a collab coming soon on Monday, y'all. 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern, man. Hey, you'll see the name once I put the live out there, man. Of course, you guys all know him, man, and stuff like that. That's the, and I was on a show recently, so there you go. There's your hint for everybody that's seen me on another show. So salute to everybody, man. I'm gonna continue collabing, man, bring more people on and stuff like that. And of course, guys, Wednesday, 2 for 1 Nation podcast, man, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, most likely, man. And of course, Mondays, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5:30 East. I mean, 7:30 Eastern. And this is the SC Raiders Talk, man. Subscribe to my boy RaiderTwuan. Both links are in the description. And like I always like to end it, tough times never last, but tough people doing yours also tough people, man. Especially us being Raider fans, man. We're all tough to be here. And of course, life is too short. So always tell your loved ones you love them. Have a blessed week. See you guys next week, man. Let's get this W, man. Come on. Hopefully these changes were for the better. We're going to find out on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Las Vegas, man. Viva Las Vegas, man. Let's get this win. Lakers in 5, salute. And hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're new, man. Shout out to SoCal Sal. I don't know if I saluted you, SoCal, but salute to you, man. It's always a pleasure to have you, man. All eyes on G, salute, and everybody else, man. I appreciate you guys. On that note, y'all, SC Raiders Talk, a.k.a. your boy Eric, and home of the congregation, the Brown Crackers, RaiderTwuan, man. And we are out. Peace.
Commitment to excellence. There's a commitment to excellence. The greatest players could get the greatest coaches. The great games we played in, the flame that would burn brightest here is the will to win. Is the will to win. Is the will to win. Your commitment to excellence.